Imagine for a moment that someone, somewhere, carries your name in their heart before they have even met you. This isn't just a passing attraction, nor a whim of fate. It's a gentle, silent yet persistent force, flowing like a tranquil river toward you, even through life's obstacles. This person pursues you with a love that is neither oppressive nor demanding, but gentle, patient, and deeply sincere. It's a love that asks for nothing in return, for its primary reward lies in simply seeing you happy, fulfilled, and at peace. In our world, where relationships are often marked by haste, selfishness, or misunderstanding, encountering a heart that pursues you with such gentleness is rare and precious. One might ask, why does this person feel this way about me? What is this energy that never falters, despite distance, time, or circumstances? And this is where the spiritual dimension comes into play. This is no accident. In the divine order of things, every meaningful encounter carries a mission. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sometimes places someone in our path for whom we represent more than mere companionship. We are an entrusted mission. Being Allah's assignment to someone doesn't mean we should feel obligated or constrained. On the contrary, it is a subtle and profound honor. It means that our existence has the potential to transform the other's life, to inspire and guide them while remaining in harmony with God's will. The love they feel for us is a manifestation of His mercy and guidance. Every act of care, every attentive thought, every discreet smile is an expression of this sacred mission. And if we look around us, we discover that this type of love often manifests itself in unexpected ways. Sometimes through a person who silently cares for our well-being. Sometimes through encounters that seem fortuitous but were in reality meant to happen. This heart that gently pursues us doesn't seek to change us, possess us, or control our path. It respects our rhythm, our choices, and our freedom, while remaining a constant and reassuring presence. So through this video, we will explore this unique and divine phenomenon. How to recognize this heart that pursues you with tender love. How to understand the role you play in this mission entrusted to us by Allah. And how to welcome this relationship with gratitude and awareness. Because sometimes, in the calm of a glance or the sincerity of a gesture, we discover that we are not alone, that love can be patient and pure, and that some encounters are much more than a coincidence. They are a blessing. 1. Understanding gentle love. Gentle love is much more than a simple romantic feeling. In a universal and Islamic context, it is defined by kindness, patience, and mutual respect. This type of love does not seek to possess or control the other, but to protect and support, to elevate them to the best, both spiritually and humanly. It is a love that inspires, reassures, and offers a space where each person can flourish freely without fear or constraint. Unlike possessive love, which stifles and imposes, gentle love is a conscious choice to remain close to the other, to accompany them on their journey without appropriating their identity. It recognizes that each person is a unique creation and that their freedom, aspirations, and emotions are sacred. Protective love is not expressed through domination, but through silent vigilance and sincere support, in times of joy as well as in times of hardship. In Islam, this love aligns with the teachings of mercy and compassion. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught that the heart of a believer must be tender and forgiving, not only towards loved ones, but also towards all creation. Thus, gentle love becomes an act of worship, a tangible manifestation of divine goodness. Patience in the face of another's flaws, kindness in words and actions, and respect for their choices form the foundation of this type of relationship. In daily life, this love manifests itself in many ways. It can be a friend who listens to you without judgment, a partner who discreetly supports your ambitions, or a loved one who protects you in subtle but constant ways. These acts, even simple ones, such as a message of encouragement, a silent presence during difficult times, or an unexpected gesture of generosity, are the concrete expression of this heart that gently pursues. Each action demonstrates a sincere commitment, not to obtain something in return, but to enrich the life of another. Recognizing and welcoming this love involves remaining aware of its purity and depth. It does not seek to shatter your independence or limit you. It reminds you that true love is a balance between giving and receiving, between support and freedom. To understand gentle love is to understand that it is both a gift and a responsibility. A gift because it elevates and transforms life. A responsibility because it demands sincerity, respect, and gratitude. Thus, this heart that gently pursues you does not just love you. It honors the person you are while embodying the divine values of empathy and compassion. It shows you that love can be patient, that it can be deep without being possessive, and that it can reflect the light of divine guidance in every interaction. Understanding gentle love means learning to recognize it, welcome it, and learn from it to nourish both your own heart and the others. 2. Love that pursues you, signs and manifestations. Recognizing a heart that pursues you with a gentle and sincere love requires careful observation and subtle listening. This is not a love that manifests itself through spectacular gestures or loud declarations, but through silent consistency and discreet attention. The first characteristic is patience. This person respects your pace, your choices, and your limits, without ever pushing or forcing you. They know how to wait, because they understand that true love is neither impulsive nor rushed, but is built over time and mutual understanding. Another telltale sign is the attention paid to detail. They remember your preferences, your little habits, what makes you happy or anxious. Every message, every gesture, every action, however small, is a discreet thread that weaves a deep connection. This person seeks you out, not to fill a personal void, but to support you and share your happiness. She rejoices in your successes and sympathizes with your sorrows, with a constancy that goes beyond mere superficial concern. The gentle love that pursues you also manifests itself in subtle protection. It is not oppressive control, but a sincere and discreet vigilance for your well-being. She ensures that you are respected, heard and valued, and intervenes only when necessary and appropriate. It is a love that builds a safe space where you can be yourself without fear of judgment or rejection. Beyond visible behaviors, the spiritual dimension is central. A person guided by this love often feels a connection that goes beyond the merely human. She perceives that you are a divine mission in her life, and that Allah has placed this responsibility in her hands. This translates into sincere intentions, prayers for your happiness and guidance, and a constant desire to elevate you morally and spiritually. She sees you as a blessing, and her constant presence is a form of gratitude for divine guidance. To illustrate this, consider the example of Layla and Ahmed, not their real names. Ahmed doesn't just send daily messages. He observes when Layla feels stressed, adjusts his interactions to soothe her, and silently celebrates her personal successes. Even when they are geographically distant, he always finds a way to remain present, whether through a sincere thought, a prayer, or a simple encouraging word. Layla begins to see that this dedication is not ordinary. She has become a mission for Ahmed, not out of obligation, but out of a conscious and profound love. Finally, it's important to note that this type of love doesn't seek to rush into an immediate commitment. It accepts the natural evolution of the relationship, while remaining attentive and faithful to its original intention. It is a love expressed through consistency, patience, gentleness, and depth of intention, transforming the other's life while reflecting Allah's mercy and guidance. Recognizing these signs allows us to understand that we are at the center of a rare and sacred love, a benevolent presence that pursues with gentleness and sincerity, a relationship guided by a divine mission. 3. Being the mission entrusted by Allah. Being the assignment given by Allah to someone is a profoundly spiritual concept, one that goes beyond the simple idea of a human relationship. It means that your presence in another person's life is not accidental. It has a divine purpose. You are, in a way, a channel through which Allah transmits His guidance, mercy, and blessing. This notion of entrusted mission reminds us that every important encounter in our lives has a greater purpose than mere coincidence. You are destined to positively influence the heart and soul of the other, while remaining faithful to your own path. In Islam, this idea is closely linked to the concept of qadr, or destiny. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows the times and circumstances in which certain encounters must occur. You are not a mere coincidence in that person's life. You are part of His divine planning. Recognizing this role requires humility and awareness, because being a divine mission does not mean controlling the other or imposing one's presence, but rather acting with sincerity, kindness, and responsibility. It is a subtle balance between being there for the other and respecting each other's freedom and personal journey. A relationship based on this perspective implies mutual responsibilities. The person who sees you as their divine mission cherishes, protects, and supports you consistently, while respecting your choices and your pace. For your part, recognizing this role invites you to respond with gratitude, respect, and sincere attention. The relationship thus becomes a dynamic where each contributes to the other's fulfillment, not out of personal interest, but in alignment with divine will. Every act of kindness, every kind word, and every gesture of support then takes on a sacred dimension, as it is part of a greater plan orchestrated by Allah. Love, in this context, becomes a true act of worship. Every effort to care for another, respect their needs, and uplift their spirit is considered a form of ibadah, worship. This type of pure and sincere love is devoid of selfishness and focuses on the spiritual growth and well-being of the other. Thus, loving with gentleness and consistency is not just a human commitment. It is a way to draw closer to Allah by practicing patience, mercy, and kindness in daily life. Recognizing that one is on a mission entrusted by Allah transforms one's perception of the relationship. One no longer simply sees the other as a partner, a friend, or a loved one. One sees them as a spiritual responsibility and a sacred privilege. This requires cultivating sincerity, setting aside resentments, communicating honestly, and always maintaining pure intention. The spiritual dimension then becomes the compass that guides every interaction, every decision, and every gesture. Finally, as this perspective invites deep gratitude. Being chosen as a divine mission is an honor and an opportunity to grow oneself while positively impacting the life of another. It reminds us that true love is not just a passing emotion, but a manifestation of Allah's mercy, which unfolds through our actions, our patience, and our sincere commitment. In this context, every shared smile, every encouragement, every prayer for the other becomes a concrete expression of divine guidance and a testimony of the sacred love that unites hearts according to His will. 4. challenges, and possible misunderstandings. Even when we are in the midst of a gentle and sincere love, it is natural to encounter challenges and misunderstandings. One of the first difficulties lies in the confusion between divine love and unhealthy attachment. Gentle love, the kind guided by Allah, is distinguished by patience, kindness, and respect for boundaries. Conversely, unhealthy attachment can manifest itself through excessive dependence, control, or jealousy. Recognizing this difference is essential to avoid turning a divine gift into a source of stress or conflict. Understanding that true love respects freedom and individuality helps us avoid these emotional pitfalls. Another common challenge is unrealistic expectations. Sometimes we imagine that the person gently pursuing us must always guess our needs, act perfectly, or never fail. Yet even the purest love cannot replace communication and conscious effort on both sides. Love, guided by Allah, is patient, but it is also based on mutual understanding and respect for human limitations. Recognizing that each individual has their own strengths and weaknesses helps avoid unnecessary frustration and disappointment. Managing misunderstanding is also a crucial aspect. Even in a relationship where the intention is sincere, misunderstandings can arise. A misinterpreted word, a prolonged silence, or an unappreciated gesture can create confusion. Gentle love does not mean the absence of conflicts, but rather the way in which they are managed. The key lies in open communication, empathy, and a willingness to clarify intentions without hasty judgment. This transforms every obstacle into an opportunity to strengthen the relationship and grow spiritually. Finally, the importance of discernment cannot be underestimated. Recognizing that a heart that gently pursues you is truly guided by Allah requires careful observation and reflection on the intentions behind each gesture. It is important to distinguish between authentic, patient, and caring love and behaviors motivated by ego, neediness, or dependency. Discernment allows you to protect your heart, remain aligned with your values, and respond appropriately to the other person's presence in your life. In short, even the purest love is not without challenges. The key is to maintain a clear conscience, observe patiently, and maintain sincere communication. Misunderstandings and unrealistic expectations are natural, but they can be overcome through kindness, respect, and discernment. Understanding these aspects not only preserves the integrity of the relationship, but also strengthens the spiritual bond that underlies it, making every challenge an opportunity for personal growth and closeness to Allah. 5. Reciprocity and gratitude. Welcoming gentle and sincere love involves not only receiving it, but also responding to it with reciprocity and gratitude. Within the context of a heart that pursues you with kindness and patience, it is essential to understand that love is not merely a passive feeling. It is a conscious interaction, an exchange of attention, respect, and support. Responding to this love with kindness means that every gesture, word, and action must reflect the intention of nurturing and strengthening the bond, while respecting the other's freedom and space. Reciprocity is not limited to simple material or emotional reciprocity. It manifests itself in attentiveness to the other's needs, in sincere listening, and in kind support. For example, responding to a message of encouragement with a word of gratitude, or supporting another in their projects and challenges, transforms each interaction into a meaningful act. This constant and balanced exchange creates a harmony that strengthens the relationship, making it deeper and more resilient in the face of challenges. Cultivating a grateful heart is at the heart of this process. Gratitude is not only a response to the love received, but also an active awareness of the blessing this presence represents in your life. Recognizing that this love is a gift from Allah strengthens the spiritual dimension of the relationship. Gratitude then becomes a daily practice, sincerely thanking, verbally or through gestures, for every moment of support, patience, and kindness, while keeping in mind that this relationship reflects a divine plan. In Islam, expressing this gratitude takes many forms. Prayer, invocations, and good deeds can be ways to thank Allah for the blessing of this relationship. But on a human level, gratitude is manifested through respect, loyalty, and kindness toward others. Saying a sincere word, offering a gesture of support, or simply being present and attentive to the other's needs are all ways to translate this gratitude into concrete actions. This shows that the love received is not taken for granted, but is honored and consciously nurtured. The impact of this reciprocity and gratitude is profound. For the person who loves you, seeing their kindness recognized and valued strengthens their motivation to continue loving with patience and gentleness. For you, receiving this love with a grateful heart increases your own capacity to love, forgive, and act with compassion. Together, you create a virtuous circle where love becomes a driver of spiritual and personal growth, and each interaction a means of moving closer to the divine ideal of mercy and kindness. Thus, reciprocity and gratitude transform an ordinary relationship into a unique spiritual and human experience. They maintain a balance between giving and receiving, while aligning each action with kindness and divine guidance. Welcoming this love with gratitude and responding to it with awareness and care makes the relationship not only lasting, but deeply meaningful for both parties, and reflects the light of Allah's mercy in every daily interaction. 6. Conclusion and spiritual message. In conclusion, understanding that a heart pursues you with gentle and sincere love, and that you are a mission entrusted to you by Allah, profoundly transforms our perception of human relationships. It is no longer simply an emotional interaction, but a spiritual encounter, an exchange of kindness, and an opportunity for personal and spiritual growth. Every gesture, every word, and every intention then takes on a deeper meaning, as they are part of a larger divine plan. The central message is that this love is not to be taken for granted. It requires attention, patience, and discernment. But in return, it brings inner peace and a sense of gratitude that transcend ordinary experiences. Recognizing the signs of sincere love, understanding its spiritual dimension, and responding with reciprocity and gratitude allows us to build a harmonious and lasting relationship, aligned with Allah's guidance. It is important to remember that patience and consistency are the pillars of this type of relationship. Even in the face of challenges, misunderstandings, or hardships, remaining attentive and acting with sincerity and gentleness transforms obstacles into opportunities for learning and strengthening the bond. Each trial thus becomes a way to purify intention and strengthen faith in the divine plan. Finally, being aware of one's role in the other's life as a mission entrusted by Allah offers a unique perspective. It is not simply about receiving or giving love, but about contributing to the spiritual and emotional growth of the other, while remaining aligned with one's own values and beliefs. This balance creates a dynamic where love becomes a means of worship, gratitude, and mutual growth. In summary, a heart that pursues you with gentleness and sincerity, and the recognition of your role as a divine mission, constitute a rare and precious experience. It is a call to spiritual vigilance, daily gratitude, and loving reciprocity. Welcoming and nurturing this love not only allows us to experience a rewarding relationship on a human level, but also to perceive and feel the guidance and mercy of Allah in every interaction and every moment shared.
In conclusion, every sincere encounter in our lives is an invitation to perceive love as a divine gift and a sacred mission. Recognizing that a heart gently pursues us and that we can be a blessing in the lives of others transforms our view of relationships. They are no longer simply human. They become paths of spiritual growth. Imagine each kind gesture, each smile or each encouragement as a light sent by Allah to guide and nourish the soul of the other. May each of us meditate on how we can honor these missions by giving patience, gratitude, and sincere love, and by letting divine benevolence guide each of our steps.